Truth Serum Nation, good day, everybody. Truth Serum Nation, good day, everybody. I hope today finds everybody well. And my channel, I think I'm getting subscribers again. So thank you, Jesus. And good. So I'm excited about that because I was frozen for a long time. So let's get back to the story. The Mafia always had parties. There's parties going on here for this, children that had monumental dates and, sweet 16s or communions or just party just for whatever. And I went to a few of them. So I'm at a party. We're at the party. One of the girls turned 16 years old. And a lot of alcohol and stuff, and then as it gets later and later, people start weeding out, and then the partying starts a little later. Like them Diddy parties, like the Diddy parties. Well, the party starts a little later. So I'm up there, and I'm at the house, and there's people outside and on the lawn, and everybody's having fun. And I get called into the house, into this room, and they're like, Jojo, can you bring the girls? One was the daughter, and one was the daughter's girlfriend. Can you bring the girls back to our house? We'll be on our way shortly thereafter, because they don't want the kids around, because they're going to be doing, so they're already bombed. They're already snorting cocaine right there. So I says, well, when are you going to be coming back? Because I don't want to get caught up in no craziness. Well, I'm trying to make a couple dollars, but I don't want to get caught up in any craziness with these girls, bringing them home, waiting for the parents to come. I see trouble before, I try to see trouble before it comes. So I go back out and I tell Sam, they want me to bring the girls back to their house, two pair of parents, and they're gonna come later. They'll be coming shortly. And I go, well, I want to make money running errands after this party. I want to make my money when some of these guys are drunk. I give them rides, and I can make a couple dollars. Sam says, don't worry about it. He gives me a little bit of money. He says, go do it. The parents will be coming shortly after. Okay, fine. I get the phone number of the house where we're at. So I drive 10-minute ride, go over there. The girls are in the back seat. They're talking, juvenile, whatever, 16, and and we get in there. So I have a race. We get beautiful estate, huge estate. We get in there, and the bottom of the house, there's a separate level, TV room, blah blah blah. I tell them it's time to go to bed. Get on up there, go to bed, whatever. Your parents will be coming home shortly. They already anticipating that. I'm down in this other area reading the racing form, because I always had a racing form for the horse races. So I'm chilling down there, and here comes this guy knocking on the door. He was at the party. And he said, yeah, you're Sam's boy. Sam was the boss. Everybody knew I was Sam's boy. And he said, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to come here and wait for Sally's parents to get here. He thinks he's going to go there and wait for these girls' parents to get there so they can blow up some more cocaine. So I says, well, I don't know if that's a good idea. Why don't you just go wherever you came from? And then you could call the house, whatever, and make sure they're there. And now he gets a little aggressive. What are you talking about? Who are you? Blah, 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 blah. I said, Sam told me And the parents told me, he's like, well, I know the parents. Blah, 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 blah. He comes right in. He comes right in. Now we're sitting in this TV room and he starts doing cocaine in front of me. I'm reading the racing form. He's going, come on, kid, start here. I got a nice fat line for you to snort. I go, bro, I don't mess around with that. I said, this ain't no good, man. This is no good. And he's being aggressive. He's being real aggressive. So I said, whatever. Moving along, we're sitting there and it's quiet. He's snorting, he's tweaking, and I'm reading the form. And one of the girls comes down and she's got like a nighty thing that's revealing, and she's going when are the parents getting home? When are my parents getting home? Blah blah blah. I said, ho 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 ho, get up there, get to bed, get to bed. Now this guy's whacked out on cocaine, and he's like, it was he's checking her out. He's checking her out. So I get on the phone again. I call over to the house where the parents are. No answer. No answer. I was thinking, this ain't good. This ain't good. Now this guy is talking smack, and he's telling me to leave, and he'll handle everything. Like, oh, really? I go, about half hour goes by because it's a big house. This is an estate. This is a big house. I go up the stair. I could hear commotion down there. They're drinking. The girls are drinking a bottle of liquor. They're getting twisted. They're getting twisted. And they're saying things that aren't good. They're saying things that aren't good. So here comes this guy behind me. He comes up during. He's like, "Oh, let me get a drink of that bottle." Like he wants to join the party with these drunk underage girls that are mobs. He knows who their parents are. He knows who their parents are. And I says, no, that's not good. I said, I lied, and I said, well, there's another guy on his way here right now. A friend of Sam's on his way right now. He's gonna just put all this to rest. Blah 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 blah. So I get out of there. He orders me out of there, and he's aggressive. He's on cocaine. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun in his whole in the shoulder vest. And whatever happens. I gotta get out of Dodge. So I leave. I can't call anybody. Nobody's answering the phone. And it's too late to call Sam because it's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I gotta exit stage left. So I get out of there. I get the hell out of there. And I didn't wanna go down there, but I mean, I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to leave. It's just because if he does something while I'm there, then I'm like a participant. So I had called Sam's daughter that has an answering, or niece, Sam's niece, the boss's niece. I called because I know she's got an answering machine. So I call and leave a message and say, yeah, this is JoJo. I brought these girls over here to after the party, the 16 party, blah, blah, blah. This isn't good. I got to get out. This guy's ordering me out. This is all bad. And I'm leaving, just so that's on record. So I leave. Everything's all right. I get about 2 or 3 days go by. 2 or 3, less than a week. Less than a week goes by. I I'm outside of the racetrack, and I'm in the parking lot at the racetrack, and I'm checking out my racing form, sitting in my car. A guy jumps in my car, and he's got a gun, and he's got it between his lap, and he's going, "Hey, you're gonna tell me about the?" I'm thinking, I'm blast. I'm ready to faint. I'm ready to faint. And he tells me, "Start the car. Come on, let's go. Blah 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 blah. Let's drive." He's got the gun, but he said, "Don't worry, everything's all right." He's trying to reassure me. I had seen this guy before in certain circles. I just never had any interaction with him. And we go we go back. He orders me to go back to the house, where the parents' house where this is all happened. So I go in there and I explained this was going on. This was going on. The girls were acting crazy. They were getting drunk. This guy come in, blah blah blah. I tell them the whole story. Forgive me because I'm sorry I left, but he ordered me to leave. He's a psychopath. He's doing cocaine. I gotta get out. I had to get out of there. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So um, that that blows over. That blows over, and I find out uh, maybe a month later from my godfather. My godfather did work for the mob. He was a hitman, and I found out from him, and he asked me some things, and I'm like, "Why are you gonna smash them? Are you gonna smash him or what?" And he didn't, he didn't say anything along those terms. I was just curious because a lot of times you hear a story from this faction, then you hear a story from this faction, then by the time it gets to my godfather and they're telling him this or that, or they want him to do something, he's heard three different versions, but he knows that I was there. So he wants to get everything straightened out. So I guess they dealt with the guy. I think, God forgive me, that they well, he got tortured. He got tortured, whatever. He got dealt with, and um, I talked to the boss Sam, and he says don't speak on it. And see, I was always, I just wanted to make money. If I'm gonna be running around a little errand boy, I want to make some money because this is a crazy environment. It's just a crazy environment, and so I'm thinking, well, I want to get paid. But there were other instances at these parties where these guys, now this guy that did that was messing around. Well, I left this part out. The girls were talking the next day or two, and like the mother heard something. And he's like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" Well, yeah, the party, so and so. So they were really shaking her down, and then she said, "Yeah, they did the nasty. They did the guy, the psycho. They they did it. They had sex, and so they knew." And a lot of times at some of these parties, a lot of alcohol's flowing around, and some of the children are just normal, well-adjusted, regular, this and that, but they get a little excited because a lot of them are spoiled. A lot of them are spoiled. They're living a real high life, and they think they're way older than they are. Teenage girls, they think they're more mature and everything, and some are rebellious and all that. And so they're uncontrollable. And a lot of times they do the regular ceremonial stuff, and everybody's having fun. 40, 50 people at these events, on beautiful estates, $1 million estates. Everything's nice. And it's a high life. It's a high life. And this cocaine that the mob sold so much cocaine, and a lot of the freaking gangsters did so much cocaine. I don't know what Mike Francis and all these other mob tube guys or whatever talk about, but they this cocaine, y- you know, these guys, they were just tearing it up all day long. And they're sex maniacs. They're sex maniacs. A lot of them got beautiful wives, beautiful children, and then they want me to drive them to the strip joint so they can mess around with strippers and all that. And then the strippers do the coke, they do the coke. They're all running around with all this craziness, and I didn't participate in it. A lot of stuff happened during those times. The best that can come out of it is bad. The best that can come out of it. You're around gangsters. You're around drugs. Gangsters whacked out on cocaine. Bad, bad. I was around a lot. Always on edge with these guys. Their moods change. They're just complete insanity. But they had this cocaine, and I guess this cat had them girls doing cocaine. This pedophile, he had them doing cocaine, which I found out later. They had did cocaine, got whacked out, and then he did what he did. And but the girlfriend told on him. The girlfriend, the girl that had sex, her girlfriend later on, her parents shook her down and said, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" So I don't know. It's yeah, this guy jumps in the car with a gun, and he's like, they know I was the one that had left that house, and they wanted to know, make sure they knew all the facts. And I met with Sam and explained everything to him, and he said, "Well, you did the right thing. You left, whatever. I mean, the guy's strong arming. He's like, it feels like, well, if you don't leave, Joe, I'm gonna assault you or whatever. It's like that. So I got to get out of there." So a lot of things. A lot of the parties were nice, though. There's different people, a lot of gangsters from different geographical areas, and then you meet them. And I was always well behaved. I always stayed with the boss, Sam, and then he's got to introduce you like the mafia rules. He's got to introduce you to say, "Oh, this is my boy Joe. This is Alex, that." So I always went, because I'm always, and I would be there. And as it gets later, they're getting drunker, and a lot of times these women, they might start hitting on me, and I don't participate in any reindeer games. Yeah, they're trying to get a little friendly and frisky, and because there's you be there's tables of food out there, and and then they come up, "Oh, how are you? I'm this and that." And I don't know if it's some psycho gangster's daughter, niece, whoever. I don't care. I can't, so I would just make it real brief, and then go back to Sam. And then he'd look and he'd go, "What does she want?" I go, "Well," and he goes, "Well, you're smart, Joe. Just stay right the F here. Stay right here." So he kind of applauded that. I mean, there's enough women out there to entertain in the real world than to get caught up with gangster women. There's enough women in the general population, than to do that. But a lot of these guys were whole masters. That they're just crazy with strippers and cheating and everything else like that. Then you add cocaine onto their minds, and they're gone. They're gone. And my godfather did a lot of work for the Colombos and some other families, New York City families. Whatever that needed to be done, he did it. And I don't know if he actually did got this guy, but he got tortured. The guy got tortured in some fashion, and I don't know what they don't they wouldn't tell me about a hit. You can assume one and one is two, but I'm not none of them guys are gonna say, oh yeah, Jojo, you know this, yeah, they blew his brains out. No, they're not gonna. I'm not privileged to that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know any of that craziness. But uh, some of these guys were just dogs, just complete dogs. 40%, 40% of the guys were regular, good, proper guys. But I'd say 60% were chasing strippers, cheating on their wives, and doing massive amounts of cocaine. You know, hey, Philly Bob, Michael K, Mr. Anderson. Thank you, Philly Bob. So, you got these guys that they this cocaine, like there was a mild mannered guy. They forced him into doing coke. Sometimes they try to use peer pressure. Go on, Jack, do so. And he came into the club. He was Looney Tunes. I said, "Holy cow, what the hell's wrong with you?" He was always well mannered and all this and all that. And he said, "Oh, I was out there with Ricky over at the," and I said, "You did some cocaine?" And he was like, I said, "You're out of your mind. Go home, lock yourself in the house, and don't interact with anybody." Holy cow. Yeah. Draper Mint, real gangsters are loyal to their wife and kids. Now there were some, I would say yes. There were some that were proper, just trying to make money. Yeah, there's if you unless you said that in sarcasm, is that a sarcastic reply? Draper Mint, is that sarcasm? There were some stand-up men, though. Of course, there were stand-up men. There were stand-up men that knew they might get whacked or go to prison, and they set their families up with businesses. They knew how to have the accountants. They knew, they had business set up. They had their doomsday plan set up, and they knew how to stay within the law. You know, yeah, Draper, and me. Then they throw me in the mix. With I'm just a runaround errand boy, and I'm a whipping post a lot of times. I'm a whipping post. They're hollering in the car. They're taking their frustrations out on me about some guy. And I just want to say, well, why don't you tell them? Why don't you tell them? And he's go, that no good, rotten, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, wait. It's just like, well, you seen them 7 times last week. Why don't you just tell them? But I can't say it, and they're all whacked out. They're all whacked out. And they left drugs in my car before. They left guns in my car before. These guys. But what I don't understand is they got, as far as getting with women, they have money, they have drugs, they have strippers. That should just be all right. But there was another incident, another time where a guy, a made member of the mob, he did it another time with a 12, 13-year-old girl. And I guess it didn't work out that well for him. I mean, whatever. didn't work out that well. But I think my godfather liked to do torturous deeds on them. If it's it sounds strange that there are still morals within the mob. There's still morals, just like everyday people. And my godfather had children, daughters, and stuff. And I think he would have done those deeds for free. I think he would have done them for free. But if he, if and when he catches up to one of them, the welding blow torches, those welding blow torches, you know, with the acetylene or whatever it is, uh, he blow torch them in private area. Mm, forgive me, but it's crazy. A lot of times I was around, even in bars, and the women start getting some alcohol in them, and then they're being a little loose. And uh, I was at a bar, and nice bar. Mobsters used to go in there, and there was a beautiful girl like Sophia Loren. She was being real friendly with me, blah 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 blah. And a friend of mine came up to me and said, "No, Jojo, no, 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 no." I was going, what?" He's like, "Well, that's Valente's daughter, or something." What? Mm-mm. No, there's enough women outside of the mob that I don't want to screw around. But because you just never know, you never know. When the little head is ruling the big head, you're making bad decisions. People have said that made guys should not have families so they can put all their other time into the crime family. Total disagree. Well, I don't know people, mobsters. Who's to say that mobsters shouldn't have families? That's retarded. You know, of course, Philly Bob. Of course. My godfather that did a lot of work and a lot of bad deeds. He did everything to make sure his children were set up. A lot of these guys, some of them would just were smart enough, high IQs. A lot of these guys had high IQs. Some of them could see the writing on the wall, but they would already have uh, uh, lawyers and accountants that are setting up things just in case they get whacked, so their families could be taken care of. And of course, uh, you know that's completely understandable. But I've done a lot I've studied psychology, college, and human behavior, and all of that kind of stuff. And you just some of the guys would just cheat on their wives, and they were dogs. And then, well, why do they cheat? Well, some are just abstractly dogs, but then some of them have low self-esteem and low ego issues. So they overcompensate. They act real crazy and tough, and they want to conquer as many women as they can conquer. So some of them equate uh, uh, having sex with so many women is equal to being a big man, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, well, thank you guys for coming in. Um, there's a link to the greatest book ever, second greatest book ever written. Yeah, you know, Draper Mint. Yeah, you have to have discipline. I was young. I looked a lot better than this, and uh, you know, I didn't just go try to conquer. I was very picky. I mean, I was very picky. about things. I was young, trying to work. I was college educated, trying to do the right thing. And I just knew at some point in time I had to have an exit strategy and just survive all this crazy stuff and then just go back, back to the real world and not be involved in all of that because the ending is usually bad. There's the ending is bad. And these guys were just the strip joints, the strippers, and oh, it was such a turnoff to me. They're telling me sometimes I'd wait in the car for hours, and they're in the strip joint, and and then they would order me to go into the strip joint, so I would sit way in the back at the bar, and oh, we're gonna get you a lap dance, and no, I don't want any lap dances. I don't want to sit there and swoon over the naked girls that are teasing me. What the benefit is that? You know, while they were getting the sex off of those girls. They were getting it, you know. They were actually getting it. I didn't want it. I didn't want it. And but Sam applauded me for that. I told Sam everything. I told the boss everything. And he respected me for that. He respected me for that. You know, I don't need to be dealing with crazy women, you know. And even if there was a lot of proper gangsters' children, a lot of proper women. I met very nice girls, very nice dating material, very nice that were daughters of mafia gangsters, but I still they maybe they were wife material, but I did not want to be involved in it. I did not want to be involved in it because a lot of times some of these guys would say, "Come on, Jojo, I want you to meet Anne Marie," and okay, so I would be nice. How are you? Nice to meet you. Blah blah blah. This and that, and I try to make it short. I just try to make it short just to be respectful. Oh, hi, blah, 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 nice. And they would be nice because they, I think a lot of them knew I was respectable. They knew I was respectable. And I was academically smart you know, and you'd get introduced. But I don't care if it was Mother Teresa. I don't want to be involved. I'm gonna go back over here and Sam, Sam would the boss, he'd be at these places, and I know he's watching. He's watching through the people. He's got 20 eyes. I know he's watching. He's reading me. He's reading me. He's reading me. They read you like a book, and he's reading, and he sees what's going on, and then I come right back, and really loved that because he knew half of his crew were a bunch of whore masters, and doing cocaine. So you know, he just thank you, Philly Bob. So that's woo, you know, being that lust, just like in the Bible, lust, you know, even in the Bible, when it comes to lust, even if you look at a woman with sexual desire, that's just like committing the act, I believe, biblically speaking. How can you dodge that? How can you dodge that if you're on a beach, the girls are running around all half naked, and you're looking at these girls walk by with really sexy bodies? How does a man dodge lustful thoughts toward a woman that's fine as hell? And the Bible says just the lustful thoughts alone are just like committing the act. Hey, Vegas Pete, happy holidays to all these good people in here. So, I was biblical literate by the time, you know, I was biblical literate, went to church school and study. I like to study everything. I mean, academically, I studied everything to the fullest, all straight A's, Dean's List. I tried to study a lot of stuff. And we had Bibles in our house and all this and that. So I used to read a lot and try to, just gain knowledge. I don't know, so that's tough to refrain from looking at women in bikinis without lusting for them. It's tough out there, but eh, you know. So yeah, but these gangsters, they couldn't keep it in their pants, and the cemeteries are full of them, and you gotta you. The reason why I left that house because if I would have stayed there, he was ordering me to leave. So just say he lets me stay at the house. He goes upstairs and he screws around with the 16-year-old girl, and I'm still there. And then it all comes out 2 days, 3 days later. It all comes out that he screwed the guy's daughter, blah, blah, blah. And then it comes out, well, yeah, JoJo was there. The backlash could be on that the backlash is going to come on me. That's why I called Sam's niece and left a message to put it on record that I was out of there. The guy's threatening me. I don't know if he's going to assault me or he's showing a gun. I'm well aware he's holding a gun. And so that's why you have to see these things early and get away from it. Get away from it. I left guys at places. I left guys. I didn't care. Uh, my godfather protected me. My godfather protected me from these psychopaths, and Sam would understand. The boss, Sam, would understand. But there was a lot of times when some crazy things were about to go on, and I left some of these gangsters wherever they were. Get in the car. I'm out of here. I'm out of here, and then I'm gonna go somewhere where it could be documented that I was over here at this certain point of time. I didn't just go home and stay alone. I went somewhere where if anything happened, there's witnesses that could say, no, JoJo was here at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. JoJo was here at 10 p.m. in the morning. 3 or 4 witnesses that can corroborate that. Because I would just leave some of these times when sometimes some things would happen, planned or unplanned, and I might be around, and it's like, whatever. And, oh, why did you leave me? Why did you leave me? You no good bum, JoJo. Why did you leave me over there? Blah, 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 blah. And I would say, well, I called Sam and Sam told me to leave. That's why. Because when you see the beginning of stuff that can go off the rails, get out of Dodge. And if there's a crime, assault, or murder, and you're there, you're guilty by association. That's it, No. I gotta leave and make sure that there are witnesses that see me. So if anything happens, nobody's gonna say, oh yeah, that tall Italian skinny kid was there. No. He left. He left. So, wow, it's a beautiful, bright winter day. God is good. Jesus is good. You know, these things are tough. You deal with lust, greed. Boy, let's just be happy we're alive. Every day's a great day for me because, hey, we're alive and we're truly blessed. We're truly blessed. And I've been blessed to still be alive. And I should be a better Christian. I should be a better Christian than I am. I really should be. It is hard. I'm trying not to swear anymore. Try. I don't have women all over the place, so we ain't got to worry about that. So I'm just a mild. You get older and whatever, you get older. But yeah, so what else we got? What else we got going on here? Anybody want to add something? I don't want to turn this into a marathon, but that Billy Carson, that fraud that got exposed by Wes Huff, and he was so anti-Christian. This Billy Carson had a YouTube channel. He was so anti-Christian, and then he came across a scholar, Wes Huff, and then he got exposed. And the Christian movement is rising up. The Christian movement is rising up now, so that's good. Thank you, Philly Bob. That's good that what the fallout from what that Billy Carson was doing. He was preaching all this ancient sacred text, sacred knowledge, and always trying to say that his evidence showed that there was no crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So he was so anti-Jesus until he did a debate, what was just an interview with Wes Huff, and then Wes Huff exposed him and made him look foolish. And at least that accomplished that. I think there's more of a movement toward Christianity and getting our soul and our spirit better. So at least there was one good fallout from Billy Carson and Wes Huff exposing Billy Carson. And then Billy Carson did videos after that just really confirmed how whacked out he was, how he was getting over on the views, and he made a ton of money. But it all ended in one debate with Wes Huff. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. Always trying to claim that he's got all this evidentiary stuff that Jesus didn't get crucified, and it all, his 10 years of garbage ended in one interview with Wes Huff. So if somebody's interested in checking that out, it's really good juice out there. Yeah, Billy Carson gets exposed by Wes Huff. And I think Christianity is rising up. These Christian channels have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Jeez. I think people are more interested in Christianity than the mob stories. The mob stories, yeah, they're interesting and everything. And I don't mind doing the mob stories, but when I did the Christian video about that, I felt better about doing Christian videos than Mafia stories. That it's like dark mob stories versus light Christian, beautiful Christian stuff. So there you have it, folks. We're gonna have a good week, man. Nothing sillier or weaker than an atheist. Yeah. Draper Mint, check that out. I think you'd probably be interested in that. Billy Carson gets exposed. Now, Wes Huff is an international expert on papayas tax. He's a genius on everything. Billy Carson didn't know what he was getting into. It was just supposed to be a debate about they're going to throw some stuff around and, they're going to throw some things around. And Wes Huff was so polite. He was killing him with kindness, and he was coming with the facts. And then Billy Carson was like, oh, well, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You hung your hat on 10 years of spewing all this anti-Christian stuff around, and then you get exposed on video in an interview, and then it all crumbles. 10 years of gibberish, anti-Jesus, just crumbles. And then Billy Carson couldn't take it, and he gets up there. I got mansions. You're all suckers, all you poor people. You're all suckers. Yeah, because they donated to you, Billy Carson. I got a movie theater. I got a private island. Look at me. I got all this money. All you suckers that donated to me, because he couldn't take the pressure after he got exposed. He couldn't take the pressure. if he had any kind of sense, he would have said, okay, I made some mistakes in my research. Okay, there was a resurrection. Wes, you're very intelligent. Maybe we can get together. And yes, I admit I was wrong, but he couldn't admit he was wrong because he spewed this garbage for 10 years. Anti-Jesus, anti-Christian, you know, he's doing his research on the Sinaitic text and the text of Barnabas. They've all been discredited. They've all been discredited. And Billy Carson knew it, but he'd hang his hat on that. There was no crucifixion. There was none of this. There was none of that. Well, on another subject. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Hmm. What is hidden in the dark will be revealed by the light. It took 10 years, but it made it. It took 10 years, you know. I'm not a mobster. I'm a Christian. And I'm proud to say that. My mother raised 5 kids and pushed us toward Christianity. And my mother raised a Christian. She's passed away. She didn't raise a mobster. So I'm not going to feel bad about doing Christian verses or stuff on my show. Whatever happens, happens. Yes, Mafia stories are more entertaining and probably get more views, but I like the stories in the Bible are just as fascinating as mob stories. Geez, fascinating stories in the Bible. Holy cow. So that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be doing. Um, we'll figure it out somewhere along the line. So the weekend is here. It's frigid over here in New York, but the sun is shining. The birds are singing. It's the holiday time. Don't get depressed and do drugs because it's a big time where people get depressed and they start, you know, loved ones have passed away. Yes, well, we'll all be together again. We'll all be together again. So don't go start doing crazy things because of depression and grief and isolation. No, we'll be all right. Okay. So that's that. Thank you folks for helping me out coming in Vegas. Pete, where have you been? In Vegas, I imagine. Mm, yeah. I can use a Vegas vacation. All right. Just like Chevy Chase. Vegas vacation. All donations will be greatly accepted. There's a Cash App. There's a link to my book. Throw a cup of coffee down the guy's throat. All right. So thank you. Be the kings and queens of your world. We're the children of God. So let's reach those. Let's reach up to it. I gotta do better. I have to do better. I gotta do better. For the miracles and things that divine intervention that has happened to me, I should be a I should be preaching the word of God every day for the miracles that happened to me. I should be preaching the word of God every day. Maybe I'll start. Maybe that's why he brought me back, because maybe I can communicate things effectively. Who knows? I'm going crazy, folks. What is my calling? What is my calling? Huh? All right, so that's it. Um, enjoy, everybody. We're gonna be back. I really appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and uh, giving me confidence. You know, I appreciate that. So I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy. All right. Thank you, folks. God bless you all. Stay safe. Okay. Don't do any chemicals. Don't party too hard. All right, folks. Thank you.